Bless the leg and greetings to all my dear students. Well, for today's video lesson, I would like to touch upon some of the programs. As far as my memory serves me alright, in the last video lesson we have covered most of the basics of Python as a programming language, and then I do remember solving two problems using a program. Those are pretty much a very simple program, but as of today I would like to really get into how the program works. So I'll be writing programs for 5 problems. So before we start, you need to have a clear picture of what problem is and what program is. Problem is like a question, and the program is like a solution. Whenever we have a situation, we have a problem to be solved, we write a program. Why do we write a program? Is so that once we write the program, we don't have to actually go about solving the problem. It's the machine which will carry out the problem solving process, right? But in order to write a program, like I have been saying till date, we need to write a program that a computer understands. So the program needs to be written in one of the high-level languages, and then as of the class 11 and 12 subject is concerned, we are primarily using the Python as a programming language. So in order to solve a problem, we write a program. So the very act of writing a program using high-level language, or for that matter any high-level language, is known as programming. Okay, so the programming is the act of writing a program using any of the high-level languages. All right, so this is what we actually call it as programming. So basically, when you join the field of computer science, it's mostly about programming, and the question is, how do you program? You program with the help of which particular language? That's when you get a little deeper. So let's get started. I have listed 6 questions. We'll see how time permits, and then accordingly we'll try to cover up as many questions as possible, right? Like I said, if you have a machine or if you have a system at home, nothing like it, but just in case if you do not have computers at home, no reason to panic. These are very simple programs, so if you could understand the logic or the algorithm behind these programs, and then the very program itself, that should be enough. And then once we hopefully gather back in school, we will have a rigorous or extensive lab classes, right? So the utmost important thing as of today is you need to understand the programs at any cost, right? So the first, the question is, just maximize this, all right? So the first important thing to be noted is you need to have a total clear understanding of the questions. This is a very important aspect in programming. Why not just in programming? Be it any field. Let's take an example of patient visiting the doctor, right? So you have this, the consultation process. I don't think you will come across any doctor, who the moment sees the patient, gives the medicine and then asks the patient to leave. That's sheer impossible. What happens? The doctor asks you various questions. In the process, they want to know the problem. They want to have a clear picture of the problem of the patient, and then accordingly, the appropriate solution will be provided in the form of medicines or precaution or prevention. So likewise, the same thing happens in the programming. You need to have a total clear picture of the question, which is nothing but the problem, and then accordingly you need to write the program. But before you write the program, again, there is another important aspect which you need to take note of. It's often not a good idea to write the program straight away. If it's short programs or program with not too many statements or program with fairly simple logic, you could afford to write the program straight away. But for relatively larger programs, first you need to think about the logic or the algorithm. This is very, very important. How will you carry about solving the problem? You need to have some kind of the steps, logical steps in your mind. So this is what we call as algorithm. I'm sure you must have heard this word algorithm. So algorithm is a logical sequence of steps in order to solve a given problem. Right? So you need to have a rough sketch of the logic in your mind. And then once you have this, it's become very easy to convert the algorithm into the program. And this process is called coding. So coding is an alternative name for programming. Right? So writing a code. Why do we write a code? In order to solve a given problem. Alright? So coding, is a process, which converts the algorithm, logical sequence of steps in our mind into the very program in order to solve the problem. Alright? So these are some of the key terms which you need to, keep firmly in your mind. So, but you don't need to think much because these are just the beginning days of your programming life. So the programs are pretty simple. But just in case if the program becomes bigger, it's a very good idea to think about the logic first, or for that matter, you need to have the algorithm in your head and then get on with the program. Let's read the first question first. Write a program with maximum 3 lines of code that assigns first 5 multiples of a number to 5 variables and then print them. So the question is self-explanatory. We need to write a program, but the program should have maximum of 3 lines, not more than that, not less than that, right? That assigns first 5 multiples of a number to 5 variables and then print them. So in the last class, we have learned how to assign multiple values to multiple variables. Okay? It happens on an orderly basis. The first value will be assigned to first variable, second will be assigned to the second variable, so on and so forth. So we need to keep that logic in our mind. So let's get started. And then this particular hash sign is used to convert the lines into the comment. It will make the single line into comment. What do you mean by comment is, these are lines which do not take part in the actual programming process. So the Python interpreter will ignore these lines. But what is the use of comment? It's more for us. It's nothing to do with taking part in the programming process. It's just for us, in order to write some comments, in order to explain certain part of the program. We generally use comments here, and then I'm using comments here in order to highlight the very problem or the question, right? So let's get started. Just push this, okay, so that we'll have a clear focus on the first question, right? So first things first, you need to figure out how many inputs do you need. So basically, the question deals with a number, right? So we just need to have only one statement for the input. So this is, again, you need to take note of. Figure out how many inputs, are required. Accordingly, you could have the number of input statements. So since we're dealing with just one variable, let's say n is equal to, and then I hope you remember, say input and then enter a number, alright? So I hope you do remember, this input function is a function, built-in function which prompts the user to enter a value. But remember, the return statement of this input function is always a string. Some of you seem to have little difficulty in understanding the string. String is a data type which is nothing but a sequence of characters which could be logically understood as a text. Okay? But when you represent the strings internally, we actually have it enclosed in either a pair of single quotes or double quotes, right? So when you have data like the names, the addresses, the location, the country names, the history, the data type that is to be used has to be the string, right? So this input function will always treat the input as the string. Now the question is, are we going to use that for calculation, or are we going to use that as just text? So if you are going to use that as text, we don't need to have it converted to any numeric data as such, right? If we do want to convert, if we do want to have that data as a part of arithmetic calculation, then understandably it needs to be converted into the numeric data type, which I've explained already. So, but the key thing to be noted here is the data needs to be compatible. Okay, the data needs to be presented in a form so that I could have this converted to the numeric data type. Right? So this is the first statement. So input will prompt the user to enter a data, say 5, and that 5 will be converted to integer, and then this will be assigned to n. So this will be executed first, right? And then this particular function. So these are actually called as function. The data that is accepted will be converted to integer, and then it will be assigned to the variable of n. Okay? Now once you have this, now the next question is, it assigns first 5 multiples of a number to 5 variables. Okay, so I need 5 variables, right? So I'll just name the variables as n1, n2, n3, n4, and then n5. All right, is equal to, but it's an assignment operator, right? Now the question is, how do I assign the first 5 multiples of a given number into the 5 variables? So how do you get the first multiple? You need to have this multiplied by 1. It's simple math, right? And then you have n multiplied by 2, okay? N multiplied by 3, n multiplied by 4, and then n multiplied by 5. So these are the first 5 multiples of a given number. Be it any value of n, so that number will be received in n, remember? So this n, whatever it is, let's say if it's 2, 2 will be multiplied by 1, you will get 2, 2 will be multiplied by 2, 4, so you will get the numbers like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, which are indeed the first 5 multiples of a given number, which is 2. And then once the right hand side, the expressions are evaluated, the next step is the individual values on the right hand side will be respectively assigned to the variables on the left hand side. Okay, so when I say respectively, I'm talking about the importance of orderly basis. Okay, so the assignment will take place on orderly basis, right? So, and then the third statement, will be like print. Okay, and then perhaps you could make the output a little more interactive. The first 5 multiples of a number of, okay, so look at this. Now this is a string value, all right? So the print statement will print the string value as it is. Since this is enclosed in a pair of single quotes, this will be part of the output, as shown here, okay? So the first 5 multiples of the number, and that particular number is represented by the variable of n, alright? And then you have this comma as the separator. So the value of n will be the number, which is entered by the user. So the output will be little interactive, first 5 multiples of 2, okay? And then again, you could perhaps have an equal to sign like this, and then start with the the output values n1, okay, and then, okay, you can do it directly, n2, n3, n4, and then you have n5, right? So if you want, you can have the comma in between, okay, you can have the comma in between, so I'll do it here. I think it's better, something like this, okay? I hope you're able to understand this. And then right here, okay, again, comma, and there you go, and then another comma, and then finally, okay, don't get confused. It's pretty simple. What exactly am I doing is I am specifying the first 5 multiples of a given number separated by the comma, okay, just to make the output look a little better. So you're going to get the output like this. So let's run it. It's so important to save the file. So I just did, I just wrote this program using 3 statements. That's what the question is. So we'll just try to save it. Okay, I'll just get this here, and then, okay, little side. Okay, so in order to run the program, I need to go to run and then press F5, right? Enter a number. So there you go. So you have the output something like this, okay? So we'll just, start all over again in a real quick manner. When I ran the program, the program prompts the user to enter the number. The user enters 2. 2 will be initially, 2 is a string 2. String 2 means it is considered as a text value, which means, it is just like letter A, character B, character C. It is a number by appearance, but technically it's not a number. So, that's the meaning of string. And with the help of int function, the 2 will be converted to integer 2, and then, the 2 as the integer value is assigned to n. And then, the second statement will execute starting from the right hand side. The very value of n, which is 2, will be multiplied by 1. You will have 2 here, 4, 6, 8, 10. And they all will be assigned to n1, n2, n3, n4, n5. So n1 will have the value of 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. And then finally, I have this. Where is it? Okay, I'm just running out of space. Okay, so finally what happens is, look at this. The first 5 multiples of, I have this 2 is equal to 2. Again, this is a string. Remember? 2, comma, and then 4, comma, okay, and then 6, comma, 8, comma, 10. So this is how you write the program for the first question. So you will get the output of this. So the moment you change the value, let's say I run this again, say run it, and then look at this. Let's say if I change the number to 3, I'll get the first multiples of 3 starting from 3, 6, 9, 12, and 15, right? So this is how you write a program for the first question or the first problem. Now this is the trick. Now once we manage to write the program for the computers, so be it any value, the program runs smoothly without any problem, right? So once it's done, once the program is written, nobody has to ever write the program again. It's just a matter of running the program, okay? So this is what exactly happens in the real life, the software industry or the IT industry. So once they write a big program for a given problem, the rest of the world they just need to use the program or the software, okay? So ultimately, we are assigning the work once and for all to the machine. So let's move on to the second program, right? So we'll just go further down and then, or I'll just pull this up. Now, in order to convert the statements into multi-line comments, okay, hash is used to convert the statement or the line into single line statement, right? I have 2 hash signs. So these are required to convert the single line into the comment, right? But if you want to have multi-lines converted to the comments, instead of writing hash every time at the beginning of each and every line, you can use 3 single quotes or 3 double quotes, right? At the beginning, 3 single quotes at the beginning. Okay, be careful. The rest of the statements will be converted to, the comments. So in order to stop, you can have 3 single quotes, right? So the starting 3 single quotes and the end, the 3 single quotes, or you could use the double quotes as well. So in between these 2 pair of 3 single quotes or 3 double quotes, in between lines will be converted to the comments, right? So which means now when I write the program for the second question, these lines will not participate in the actual the programming process, right? But these are useful in order to keep the records as a part of the program. Okay, now let's look at question number 2. Write a program that accepts radius of a circle and print its area and circumference. Okay, so the question is very simple. It's simple and straight. Again, you need to think first. The task is to print or calculate the area or the circumference of a circle. But the question is, how many input statements do you need it? Since it is just all about radius. Once you have the radius, you could calculate the area of a circle or circumference of a circle. Okay, and then you know the formula. But just in case if you do not know the formula, it should be alright, because we have nothing much to do with mathematics completely, even though there is this strong bond between computer science and mathematics. But our job is to write a program based on a formula. So we need not know the formula as such, but the area of a circle is pi r square and the circumference of a circle is 2 pi r. But it should not be a cause of concern. In the exam, the formula will be given. Okay, so let's move on to the second part of the program. Okay, just push this little down. Okay, and then come up. Okay, now this time the data type to be used has to be float. Float is a number, which is generally a real number. Okay, 2 set of numbers separated by a decimal point. Okay, so first things first, let's get the radius. Radius is equal to. Okay, now this time I should have the conversion, the function as float. Since I will be getting the answers in the real number form, I have to use the float data type, right? And then as usual, you will have the input, and then perhaps a message for the user. Enter the radius of a circle, all right? And then close it 2 times. So make sure that you get the number of the opening and the closing braces right. Otherwise, the program will report an error. So in the beginning days, you will take some time to get used to. Sometimes it gets really annoying, but you need to have a lot of patience for the programmers. Okay, so once you have the radius, let's calculate the area. Area is equal to, remember the formula, it's 2 pi r squared, right? So the value of pi is 3.14. If you go a little further, 3.1415, there are plenty of the numbers after the decimal point. I hope you remember watching the Life of Pi movie, where the boy it just goes on filling just about 3 blackboards with the numbers after about the decimal point of a pi value. But the 3.14 is more than enough for us. So the value of pi is 3.14. Okay, so pi r squared, is it? So you have multiplication sign. This is the value of pi, and then r squared. As of now, r squared is multiplying radius itself 2 times. Okay, so radius multiplied by radius. So pi r square. Okay, this is the value of pi, and then r square, you're multiplying the radius 2 times, and then you're done with the area, right? So this expression will be evaluated, and the result of which will be assigned to the area variable. And then it's now time to find or calculate the circumference, right? So you have circumference is equal to 2 and then 3.14 multiplied by r. Okay? So basically we are coming up with the program. So till date, what you do is you take the help of the calculator. Okay? So you are kind of outside the calculator. But from here on, we are trying to be the part of calculator. Okay? So this is the difference, you know, between being a user and being a programmer. Okay? So, and then let's print, you know, the output. Area is equal to, this is the separator. Area is equal to, and then, you know, since the area is represented by the variable of area, you know, have this, and then close it, right? So be careful, you need to get the spelling right. You know, this is the actual variable, and this should be a part of the print statement. And then be careful, you know, all the high-level languages are case sensitive, which means small a is totally different from big A. Lowercase, okay, a is completely different from uppercase character of A, just like how A is different from B. In the similar way, small a is treated completely, you know, different from the big A. So be careful. And then, you know, let's print the circumference. Circumference is equal to, and the variable in which we have the value of circumference is circum, right? And then close the bracket, and then let's save it. It's, you know, it's a must that you save the file after any kind of changes before you run the program. All right. So we'll just run the program and check. Press F5. You can press F5, and then we'll try to go. Okay. Enter the radius. So I'll just get this up. Okay, this is better. Let's get rid of this. Okay, so enter the radius. Let's say the radius is 2. You get the area as 12.56 and the circumference as 12.56. Because, you know, since the value of radius is 2, the calculation amounts to a similar value. But let's run and check for another value. Let's say 3. Now this time the value of area and the value of circumference differs, right? So again, it's very simple. The moment I enter 3, you know, this 3 will be accepted as string 3, but this string 3 will be converted to float 3 this time. And then this is how it goes to the radius. So the data type of radius is float. Remember, I taught you something about dynamic typing. Dynamic typing is, you know, something which will determine the data type of a variable, you know, with the kind of value that is being assigned. Say if you assign 3, the data type will be integer. If you assign 3.0, the data type will be converted to float. And then later, if you try to assign a Boolean value true, the data type will be true. The data type will be Boolean. So every now and then you could change the data type. You know, that is the meaning of being dynamic, okay, changeable in nature. So this is a totally new feature in the Python as a programming language, which something, you know, which you will not find in the earlier programming languages. In the earlier or the traditional programming languages like, you know, the C++, we need to first declare a variable to be of this data type. Okay, initially, you know, before using certain variable, we need to declare first. A is an integer variable, and once, you know, we declare and then we define the variable with a value. So from there on, once it's declared to be integer, you cannot use the variable other than values of integers. So it's not dynamic at all. Rather, it's so static in nature. Okay, so that's the definition of dynamic. In Python, it's so flexible in nature. So that is, one of the many reasons, why Python is used as the primary language in the field of the artificial intelligence, the data science, the data mining, whatnot. Okay, so in between, I would like to squeeze in with some of the related basics or some of the examples or situations, from the present, the application of Python as a programming language, and then perhaps some comparison with the traditional programming language will definitely help our cause. So let's move on to the next question. Okay, so we are done with this. So again, I'll just have this converted to the multi-line comments, and then I'll just get the whole thing up. Okay.